Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at the NECA Terminator T800 endoskeleton action figure. This is not a new release by any stretch of imagination. This figure has been released and re-released a couple times over the years. I happen to be at Target today looking for some other various NECA product and stuff across the endoskeleton. That was not at that Target store a week ago, so I guess NECA is still shipping these out, which is pretty cool. This figure is appropriate for any time and should get re-released constantly. So let's go and check out the packaging here. Terminator endoskeleton, ages 17 up. There he is. And here he is in the package. He comes with one accessory, his plasma canister. The top, we've got the Terminator. One side, Cyberdyne Systems, pretty cool. Other side, exact same thing. At the bottom, there is a barcode in case anybody needs that, as well as a bunch of credits. And on the back side, we've got some stats on the T800. So with no further ado, let's open him up. And I did end up getting two of these figures. I went to two different Target stores and they both had a fresh endoskeleton figure. Me personally, I'm probably going to want to get about 6 of these guys. Alright, now that we got the figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He does come with one thing, a plasma rifle from the future. So this is a T800 infiltrator unit. This is the endoskeleton form, the machine that's under the human flesh that's grafted on top. This guy's an infiltrator unit. He has human skin on top to disguise himself so he can get close enough to you to terminate you. This is the only Terminator that has been in all 7 different live incarnations of the Terminator franchise, being Terminator, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, Terminator Salvation, Terminator Genesis, Terminator Dark Fate, and Terminator the Sarah Connor Chronicles. So let's check out the figure. So this guy here, he's got that mean looking face. It's a skull, but it's made of metal. You see wires sticking out the back. I've always liked the way this guy looked, especially in Terminator 1 and 2. See all those different pieces. He feels very light. He feels a little bit cheap, honestly. Very skinny, very little weight to him. Liking what I'm seeing so far. Liking the balls on the heel. That is something I definitely remember from the movie. The opening of T2, he crushes a skull with that thing. Overall, this guy's looking pretty cool, and he can represent the T800 from pretty much any of the franchise. And here are both of the T800s I picked up at Target today. And here's his plasma rifle. This thing is pretty much made of just 2 different colors, silver and black. You can see the handle down here where he's able to grip it, and it has a trigger area. Mine's a little bit warped here at the front. I should be able to heat it up and correct that. Overall, not a bad looking gun. Definitely looks like what I remember seeing from Terminator 2. Here he is holding his plasma rifle. I am not fond of how he holds it. This thing is quite loose in his hand. Moving just a tiny bit, this thing's falling over. Doesn't stand there very stably. Forget trying to get one in each hand, that's for sure. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at his accessory, next let's check out the height of this figure. So from bottom to top, this guy's going to be sitting at about 7.1 or 7.2 inches. It's going to translate to about 18 centimeters. Next, let's check out this guy's articulation. And as I was messing with his hand and his gun, I was trying to take it in and out. It's just not an easy thing to do, at least as far as getting to look good in there. His hand just popped right off. It's not broken by any means, but just one more annoying thing about this figure. So let's start with his head here. It can rotate from side to side. Looks like it can rotate at the top of the spine below the head, as well as the base of the spine where it meets his chest area. You're going to be limited moving his head by how far these sort of wires go. So you can only turn about that far in either direction. Shoulders here, they're hinged and go that far all the way up, which is kind of cool. And then they're able to go up and down as well. Once again, his wires here are going to prevent you from going really any further than that, which is about as far as you're really going to need to go with this guy. As we go down, single jointed elbows. See them going in and out. You can see they got these working pistons and hydraulics in the back, which looks really cool, but can break pretty easily if I were to guess, so I'm being pretty gentle with this guy. And his wrist here can simply rotate. Notice on the back here, it's got these two, I don't know what they are, almost like little wings or flaps that open up. I don't remember anything like that in the movie. Not sure what the purpose of them is in universe or in the toy universe, but they do give the credits of the figure on the inside of both those flaps. His waist here can simply rotate from side to side. Once again, you're limited with these pistons here. If you really, really want to push it, you can actually pop them out. As you can see, that one there popped out. It's not broken. You can simply pop it back in, but I really don't like doing that. It's probably the last time I ever do that on purpose. Moving further down, legs here, they can go out about that far. More of those pistons and hydraulics in there. Then go forward. Really has no traditional moving forward motion. They can only go sort of outward, like so. Not a ball joint. It's really just simple rotation. They can't go back at all. Single jointed knees, but they can go in more than 90 degrees. Then his foot here simply can rotate. And then he's got a little bit of toe articulation as well. And one little bit of articulation I forgot to mention. And once again, I have no idea what the purpose of this is. This piece in the middle here, it can open up. I feel like maybe that's where the reactor was. They showed in Terminator 3. But like I said, I really don't know what the purpose of this thing is. So my overall thoughts on his articulation is a little bit of disappointment. It does look good. The pistons, hydraulics moving. The functionality is hindered from this. Very limiting. No double joints anywhere. No ball joints anywhere. Just rotation, single joints. It does feel very fragile as well. I do like the fact that if you pull too hard, the pistons will simply come out of place and you can put them back. My NECA Aliens power loader had a bunch of pistons and those things just broke very easily. So I'm definitely concerned about him breaking. He feels fragile. He feels very light. But he's also a skeleton, so I understand so the pieces are going to be a lot smaller. He doesn't have the human flesh on the outside. But overall, not super thrilled with how this guy moves. Next, let's check this guy out compared with some of their action figures. Starting off with some of their Terminator figures. One cool thing about this guy, the box doesn't specify which film he's from, so you could definitely use him in any of your displays. If you had a display from each of the films, he could be in each one of them, as well as the TV show. Here he is with my Terminator 1 collection. On the left, we've got Kyle Reese, and then we've got the Tech Noir Terminator and Police Assault Terminator, both the original releases. In the center there, we've got the Endoskeleton T-800, which is what is underneath both these Arnold figures. And the right-hand side, we've got the Tech Noir and Police Assault Ultimate versions. I would love to get a Sarah Connor from Terminator 1, but don't expect that to ever actually happen. And here he is, next to my Terminator 2 collection. On the bottom, from left to right, we've got the McFarlane Sarah Connor, followed by the first T-800 Arnold Schwarzenegger release. Then in the middle there, we've got the T-800 Endoskeleton. Next, the Ultimate T-800 Arnold figure, the Ultimate Sarah Connor figure, and the Ultimate John Connor figure. On the top, from left to right, we've got the original Galleria T-1000. Then we've got the Steel Mill T-1000. Then we've got the Motorcycle Cop T-1000. Those first three are non-Ultimates. Then we've got the Liquid Metal T-1000, the Liquid Nitrogen T-1000. Then we've got the Ultimate T-1000, both in his police outfit and his motorcycle outfit. And while we're on the subject of Terminator 2, I pulled out this accessory that came with John Connor. Thought it was kind of cool to compare it to this guy. We've got the T-800 hand here, and the T-800 hand that survived Terminator 1. They took it from Skynet to destroy it. Pretty similar to this one. I actually feel like it's not exactly the same sculpt. One thing I did find kind of cool, it can rotate down here, just like the standard hand. and I actually don't have any Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines figures to compare them to. I would like to track down the McFarlane Terminatrix figure, just so I can have the villain from this film. I also don't have any Terminator Salvation figures, and it turns out Playmates makes some 6.5-inch figures. I'd love to get the T600 and T700 figures, just so I can have some more variation from each film. Here he is, next to my Terminator Genesis collection. These are all the figures that NECA made from that film. I really do wish they would have made a Sarah Connor, Kyle Reese, and John Connor figures, but that ship has now sailed. And here he is, next to my Terminator Dark Fate figures. These are the only ones that NECA made, and the movie bombed pretty badly. I don't think NECA's planning to make any more. I would personally love Grace, both versions of the Rev 9, the endoskeleton, as well as Skin On, and I'd even get Danny. Next, let's check them out compared with some of their robotic type figures. A cyborg is a robot with human parts. An android is a robot that looks human, and a robot is simply a robot. Here's the T-800 next to a Robocop figure. Both these would be cyborgs. Here he is next to both Bishop and David from the Alien universe. Both these guys are androids, and I can't wait to add Ash to the collection as well. Here he is next to a DC Collectibles Batman the Animated Series Hardak Batman. This guy here is a robot with human flesh on top, just like the Terminator, a cyborg. Here he is next to a couple of McFarlane Cyberpunk 2077 figures. And seeing as how the game isn't out yet, I'm not really sure what these guys are. I'm guessing they're humans that are augmented or enhanced. Here he is next to a laser shot Predator figure. This Predator is enhanced with cybernetic parts, so I'm going to call him a cyborg. And there's been a lot of speculation that perhaps he's a Terminator hunter, as it almost looks like he has a T-800 skull on his belt. Next, let's check him out compared with some other action figure lines from different various companies to see how he fits in both scale and style wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Here he is next to some of his NECA brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines from NECA Toys. Here he is with some DST or Diamond Select Toys. And here he is next to some McFarlane Toys action figures. Then here he is next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. Here he is next to a bunch of Mattel wrestling figures. I've even got an Arnold Schwarzenegger head that I threw on top of a wrestling body to make Arnold as the governor. Here he is next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods action figures. Next, let's check him out with some Mattel, DC Universe Classics, and Multiverse figures. And here with some Mafex figures. Now with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here with some SH Figure Arts action figures. So overall, this is a pretty good looking figure. I think his sculpt is nice. I really like the face on this guy. I think that pistons and hydraulics look cool on the guy, but I don't really like the functionality and how much they limit his articulation. His articulation is kind of weak. The figure himself feels cheap. He feels like he can break very easily. He's very light, almost no substance to this guy. When I picked up the package at Target, I felt like something was wrong. This guy is so light compared to a regular NECA release. I love army building. I love being able to get a whole bunch of the same figure, and it makes sense to have a whole bunch of them to fight against your other figures. Originally, I told myself I want to get 6 of this guy, but with my disappointment, I think I'm content with the 2 I got. Don't get me wrong, if I can go back in time, I still would have got the guy, as I really wanted one of these T-800 endoskeletons in my Terminator collection. I missed out on the original release, but they're still putting more of these guys out, which is excellent. If I were to rate this figure, I think I'm giving him a 6 out of 10, and I was really hoping to give him like a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you like the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it in the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.